Hey, we're back here in the studio. I'm joined by my really good friend, Omar Corey. He's in Texas today.
I love being in Texas.
Omar, how you doing?
Dude, having a good time.
I love it, man. So Omar is he's a husband, he's a father, he's an entrepreneur, a business owner, chief content creator for Think Media on YouTube. They have over 2 million subscribers. Omar is a nationally recognized name on the internet. He's a conference speaker, and he has been here in town talking to young entrepreneurs.
Yeah, man, it was really cool to just share a little bit on how you have the authority to distinguish yourself, and that's on you. Like, no one's going to do that for you, and I think it helped a lot of people. I was excited to meet a lot of new faces.
It was amazing.
Thanks, man.
You know what's awesome? The how do I put this in the right words? But the level, or the not the level, but the greatness in the room yesterday, and to seeing how you were able to pour into people. I mean, we had millionaires in there, and we had people starting their entrepreneurship journey, and so I absolutely enjoyed how your message really resonates with those that are experienced in life and those just beginning.
No, yeah, it's definitely encouraging to me, but I think because I've been blessed to be able to do something for a very long time, and kind of study what goes on in the realm of YouTube and social media, I definitely just, it's kind of like your principles are applicable no matter where you apply them.
I love that.
And so anytime you could teach principles, it's always could transcend whatever experience or background or situation people may find themselves in.
Absolutely. One of the things I have learned being around people in all walks of life is that so many times we have preconceived ideas of what they know.
100.
And especially in the internet space, in the marketing space, in the content creation space, and in social media, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and so on. And it's always, to us in that space, it seems like common knowledge, but to the average person, I mean, they truly don't understand the whole world of social media marketing.
No, yeah, I think one thing I know for a fact is that everything is marketing, and marketing is everything. The thing is, though, social media isn't the only place you can market, and that's why you can find someone who's a multimillionaire who has never posted a thing on social media. I think it's because most entrepreneurs are opportunists, and anytime there's an opportunity to scale something, get attention, or get your thing out there, then they would like to know about it. And I think because that means I probably can lead to more sales. So I think people are attracted to the idea of getting on it, even if you've never been on social media. Don't even, because the preconceived notion is like, in some way or some shape, way or form, it's doing something for somebody. And if you can wrap your head around it. But literally, there was a guy there yesterday. I was like, bro, don't post videos.
Don't do social media.
Bro, love your wife.
You don't need it.
Yeah, dude, like, can I not post? No, but I think it was just, it's just the opportunity that's presented itself with the access. No one has to give you permission to do that anymore. And that's why it's disrupting everything, because creators are able to create their own influence. You got people like Phil DeFranco, who has a daily news show that gets more eyeballs than than most news conglomerates. Like, it's insane the world we're living in. Self-made influence that people have been able to create, and it's amazing times to live in.
So with that said, I've always been of the thought process that every business needs to be on social media. And so, actually, let me rephrase that. Every business owner needs to be on social media. Now, I don't know whether that's right or wrong. What's your opinion on that? Does every entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form need a social media presence?
I think it's I think the simple answer is yes, I have a bias, and that's only because I don't believe anyone's trying to have their business die. Like, that's not the goal. Nobody wants their business to phase out and fizzle. But the probably the scariest thing about of having a business is the new kid on the block. The dude that comes in, or the girl that comes in and is just doing all the right things off the get-go, and in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, what took you so long took them a fraction of the time. The thing is about with social media is when you invest in getting yourself out there with good strategies and tactics, and just sharing what you're doing, is because social media is a place that's just rapidly growing, that you're sowing seed in good ground, in my opinion, because social media is still online, internet is still not where it's supposed to be. Like, it's still, people are just now hopping on, online shopping. People are just now finding out about social media. So
For sure.
If you want your business to be, future proofed, I would say, yes, you should be on social media.
Okay, so on that thought process, so many people think, oh my gosh, social media is saturated, I'm too late to get in the game. Is someone that wanting to start right now too late to jump in and still be able to maximize what social media can do for a person and or a business?
It is not too late to start jumping in. And
so you heard it here, okay? No excuses.
No excuses.
Not to start today. You're not too late.
It's not too late. I do think what's different is you do need to come with a plan. In the past, it was like, let's willy-nilly this thing, and people struck gold.
Yeah.
Now there is wisdom going into it before you even start. Some wisdom to know is that you should just stick to what your niche is, stick to what your business is about. The unicorn strategy isn't replicatable. We have people who just started posting content, sharing their life, grew a huge following. That isn't a repeatable process. But something that you can sustain is sharing value on your social media platform for your business that would help other people. We went out to dinner with your chiropractor yesterday, and they have no idea how to use social media.
Yeah.
And I was saying, think about the everyday things that you do, that people do, that come in your chair, like sit at desks, or maybe, go on walks, or, they're doctors. So you could say, here are 3 ways to better your posture if you work at your desk.
For sure.
Or the possibilities become endless if you're just trying to help the people that are in your chair. And so I think that was enlightening, and I saw your friend just taking a ton of notes about all the video ideas that are coming into his mind now, because he's like, how many times do you need to see a chiropractor? Yeah. Why do you need to see a chiropractor? What does seeing a chiropractor do to your health? The reason why you're struggling with something, the reason why, it's just showing up and giving that source of information to your potential clients is invaluable, because now they think about you and they're not even in your office space.
You know what? I loved seeing you in that element last night. So for those of you that don't know and are either watching and or listening, Omar is also a coach when it comes to online marketing and building your brand online. And so I absolutely loved how creative you were talking with them in a space you don't necessarily know per se. But the principles of social media are applied to every single type of profession and or lifestyle. And I loved how you were able to cater a specific and incredible strategy for them. I even saw them today. They were implementing it, and their post is borderline going viral now.
No way.
Yeah, it is just amazing. And so talking about the coaching space that you're in, what is one way, or how would you encourage people that would say, you know what, look at this, I know I need it, but I don't understand marketing?
I think there's, I'm not a sales guy, but one thing I've learned is that everybody sells.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter what it is. You're trying to convince somebody of something. I think you just first have to sell yourself on it.
I love that.
You already lost if you just came to it being like, I know nothing. good. You just sold yourself out on it.
Yeah.
But if you say to yourself, like, I wanna be sold out to this because the future is here, and
Yeah.
the success of my business, this has a part of it. But I think it is the principles. The reason why I feel like I can help a lot of people is because the principles of giving value stretch far and wide to whatever industry or niche or business
So
you're
true.
doing. The principle of showing up consistently, everyone knows what that is like. It's just commit to a consistent schedule. Like,
Yeah.
just show up consistently, and then sharing your knowledge is just or sharing your story is just something people appreciate now, and that's just something that wasn't actually easily portrayed in the past, because in the past it was bumper stickers, but it was billboards, and it was just commercials, and that was it. But the guys on the commercials felt like celebrities,
Yeah.
and all they were like local attorneys. I grew up. I'm like, I saw this
You're
one
like,
guy. He just showed up.
999. Like, we even knew their phone numbers.
No, 100. But like, coming to Starbucks, I'm like, dude, Ed Bernstein, you're famous. But no, you just put marketing dollars into a TV ad.
Yeah.
And but that's what's crazy is that now you don't have to. It's almost what you're spending is the time. But I think it's worth your time, and that's crazy to hear that that post is doing really well.
For sure. Okay, so look at this. You said something so important. It's worth your time. Okay, and so I talk with a lot of business owners and amazing young entrepreneurs that always use the excuse, I don't have time. And my response is, no, you just don't allocate time to it.
Right.
Okay, so how would you encourage someone who says, look at this, I'm busy, I have so much on my plate, like I have no time to post?
I know it's tough, because if you say that, then good, then you lose. But
Yeah, no,
but
for sure.
I would say you just need a content calendar and a strategy to get into the flow of what is called batching.
Yeah.
So there is a way of creating content that isn't so time consuming, and that is by sectioning off the content creation process.
I love that.
For a busy person, let's just say you have a full-time job and you're off on the weekends.
Yep.
And let's just also say everyone in the world has the same amount of time, so we could start there. Like, what are you doing that like homeboy was able to?
Yeah.
Whatever, but all that to say, if you are a busy person and you work 5 days a week and you have the weekends off, I would encourage you to use Saturday mornings, 4 hours on Saturday, the first Saturday, to plan out your videos. What are the videos? Don't even, just notebook, and not even 4 hours, 1 hour on that Saturday.
Yeah,
Just
for sure.
plan out, like, cool, I got my ideas. Now I can let them fester. I can kind of like help them out with a little bit of outlining. And then the second Saturday, shoot the videos. They're in your head, and if you plan your videos, a lot of the times the filming process becomes shorter, and therefore, third Saturday, you're now editing your videos.
Yeah.
And because you came prepared to shoot those videos, the editing process is a little bit shorter. The fourth Saturday, you then post it, and now you got a month's worth of work done in essentially 4 hours total.
sure.
If you just allocated an hour each Saturday.
Man, I love that. It actually reminds me when I started in real estate. I by the grace of God and His favor, my business was able to blow up using video and social media. And I remember being so busy, and yet I would still find time to film myself and to edit myself. And people would ask me, how do you find time for this? And my response would always be, how can I not?
Man.
Because that is why I had business.
Right.
And so I've always seen it that so many people want to do like the end goal without having to do the hard work at the beginning, and so I would meet and talk with so many real estate agents that wanted to be showing houses, wanted to be selling houses, wanted to be closing on homes, but for whatever reason weren't willing to put the time into what social media and or doing videos would actually give them. People ask me, Steve, what's the first thing you did in real estate? And I said, I spent my first 3 months watching videos on YouTube,
Right.
learning how to film myself, edit myself. And so I love what you said. Well, then you are just going to lose then.
Yeah.
You know, and so everyone has time. It's just what you do with your time.
100. And one cool thing that I've observed with entrepreneurs who have cracked the code and realized that like I am an entrepreneur, but I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
I find that they actually value that at the highest level. So you have people who actually their time is actually worth value. Is very valuable. Is worth, and they need to make time to make content.
Yeah.
So they're very busy, but they know the value in doing it. Like I said, it's worth creating the content. But it's funny that like yes, we look at a lot of people's middle and we compare it with where we have to start.
Yeah.
I remember watching a little talk from John Maxwell. And some dude just came up to him after a talk, and John Maxwell's been doing his thing for like 35, 40 years. And this guy comes up to him, and he's like, dude, I just want to do what you do. Like, that's what I want to do. How do I, where do I, he's like, well, if you're going to do what I do, you're going to have to did what I did.
Wow.
And then or else you can't do what I do.
Yeah.
And then, do.
Come on, do. So, okay.
You got to do.
So, on that note, I think that so many people, look at this. You said, back to the example you use when someone says, I don't know anything. Like, what could I say? And so I think that so many people are afraid of the greatness inside of them. Mm-hmm. Like, so many people are truly afraid to realize or to step into that, hey, I'm great. Like, I am really good at this. And so I've seen you step into your elements where I remember meeting you behind the camera, like literally, you were someone who took pictures,
right?
And now, a few years later, you're on stage with, world-renowned conference speakers, business owners. Just literally greatness on stage. What or how was it that you truly stepped into, like, what? I was called for this. I was born for this. This is who I am. God has allowed me to have an authority in this space, and I am going to walk it out.
I think, like, just to go there, I can literally recall moments where I heard the whisper of God saying that I'm calling you to greatness.
Wow.
I'm literally holding a camera and my back hurts and like I'm doing it, whether it was in a church setting or even in moments of shooting weddings or filming, Sean, the CEO of Think Media, that there was always a whisper in my ear that you're going to be in front one day.
Yeah.
And so knowing that I'm hearing God in these moments, I stewarded that. And so I'm studying, I'm watching how people communicate. I'm watching how educators are, communicate on video. And that when that opportunity presented itself, it wasn't that I was like 100% ready, but it was that I wasn't surprised. So when the opportunities came, and because I feel called to it, I want to steward it and get better at it. One of the best compliments I get from time to time is, dude, you've gotten so much better.
Wow.
Period. Whether it's on video, whether it's preaching at my church, because if someone's noticing progress, it's like one of the best compliments, because like all I want to do is be better at what I do,
Yeah,
and so I do think because I feel the calling, I feel a mandate. And then you add God honoring what He's spoken over me. Then yeah, it kind of, I would call it game over.
Man, I love that. If you are watching this or listening to this, I love what Omar said. He didn't just wait and greatness came to him. He actually studied it. He prepared for it. He was working his land. He was actively and faithfully working, or you were working whatever was in your hand at that moment in time. So, Omar, you're a pastor at this amazing church in Las Vegas. And so what or how is it that you incorporate God in what you do?
The way I incorporate God in everything I do is allow God to be a part of everything I'm doing.
I love that.
Or not a part, but like to lead it, to be the reason why, to saturate everything I do, whether it's church related or content related. And I'm finding that because I'm walking in what He's called me to, that there's a grace. And at one point, I actually thought a little bit of insecurity that I had was I couldn't do both. Like, Omar, you can't teach the Bible and be behind the camera.
I love
like,
that. Come on.
Omar, you can't lead people.
Preach, man.
But film people who are on stages. And it wasn't till a friend of mine, Heather Torres, who's a part of Think Media, she's like, Omar, what if like your call is to do both? A calling to do both.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt free after that. I was like, my goodness, like I thought tradition was my track, and I found that like God doesn't move in tradition. If you're on a track that's traditional, you might be off track because God is trying to do a unique thing. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing like people. It's almost like, I mean, like it's like the world is seeing me and accepting me as, oh yeah, Omar's the pastor creator guy. Which is a weird thought, and you would think that it would be orchestrated, and I'm trying to be ninja at doing that. And like, no, I'm just walking in what I'm to walk in. And so I think it's not turning on and off, whether it's church-based, ministry-based, and content marketing. I consider it number one, all ministry, and
I love that. I
am one person, or I'm fighting to be just as one as I can possibly be. And be integrous. So I don't want to be someone else on a Sunday, and then I'm a different when I'm making a YouTube video. But all that to say, I think it's just having God be a part of it all, no matter what.
I love that. So yesterday, when you were sharing with the young business owners, you shared these amazing principles of how to distinguish yourself amongst the common, and so as Christians, I was so stirred because I truly believe that you should stand out if God is for you, if He is in you, if you spend time in His presence, if you abide in Him, and so so you spoke about 3 ways to or what's that word? It's hard word.
Distinguish.
Yeah, yourself amongst everyone else. You used the story of Daniel. That Daniel distinguished himself amongst everyone else. And so, very briefly, what are those 3 things you shared?
Yeah, I think in order to distinguish yourself from what's common or the competition, number 1, it's identifying what it is you do. When you're clear about what it is you do, people will be a little bit more confident to work with you. The second, that's surface level. The second is how you do it. How you do it is a level of distinction. The reason why I think a lot of people like to work with me creatively was because I was just really fast. My fellow photographer, we both could shoot the same wedding, and because of the how that I do it, I'm delivering the photos way faster than that photographer. Now, I'd be biased if I was a client to want that over someone else, especially if the photos were great, Yep. But how you do something is key. I think a lot of what influences your how is many times experience. This is why you being different is okay, because different is better than better. That your experiences cause you to be different, which then is a level of distinction. Distinction? Yeah, it's a level of distinction from other competition. And then the third is why you do something. When that is defined, then I believe it really becomes, game over, because you're not insecure about someone doing the same what or how that you're doing, because you have your own why. And even if somebody shares your why, that's cool. You should have a good why. And so if somebody else is sharing it, but I would say the world is big, and whatever you're building is probably very a part of something even bigger. And that if you can identify what it is you do, how you do it, and why you do it, and be clear about those things, I believe you can crush no matter whatever you undergo.
My gosh, man, that is powerful. Let me ask you this question real quick. I don't know if you've ever been asked this on a podcast before, but what is what is something that is very near and dear to your heart that like one day you want to see and or you want to do?
Oh man, that's a loaded question.
I know it is loaded, you know. It's deep here, you
No,
know,
for
but
sure.
but like what's one thing in your heart?
Yeah, if I
Whether
could,
it's in the church world, whether
Right.
it's in the business world, you know, just in general.
yeah, I think the two things that I think are in my heart, but I don't see like obviously the full, picture of it now. Is number one, I do see real estate being a part of my future. I think like God has ordained relationships with a lot of people who are in real estate investing. And I always ask the question, like, I don't know why, like, why God, why me, and why real estate? I don't know what it means. I've purchased personal homes, but I was able to do a flip with you, which was really fun. But nonetheless, like, I still don't know what that looks like, you know? But I do feel a part of my future will have some of that. And as far as like something burning on my heart, I really do have a heart to help the local church do reach their church better. And I think there's a fallacy right now with churches thinking that they have to be the church that's known amongst the world when you're missing out on who's there.
Man, I love that.
And
I love that
it's like
thought process.
yeah,
concept.
because many churches are filtering an idea through the lens of the magnitude of it being seen. Well, what if you just created for your church? Like, what if you made courses just for your church? Like, I don't know how many churches struggle with helping people get started reading the Bible. And if that's something that's happening in person, it's probably not, you're not able to go as deep. It's probably, just and then you're using someone else's time. It's kind of like, but I think churches could be creating resources for their community.
Yeah, I love that.
Would God honor that? Maybe, and then blow it up. I think that happens from time to time, but that's not the goal. The goal is like, what is the burden on the church? What book of the Bible should we go through deeper? And I think just creating resource for your church and viewing content and social media for your church through the lens of value and consistency and the same principles that I talked about earlier, I think like your church will be so strong because like you are actually helping them during the week. And I just feel like there is just I feel like I have a place in that. I don't think there's like creative church conferences quite yet, like as much as you would see, or like regular big names and stuff. But I do think there's gonna be more creative churches doing more events and getting more involved with certain things. I feel like I have a part to play in that, whatever that would look like. But that's just something I feel.
I love that. All right, so look at this. I'm gonna get even deeper here. You ready for this one or no?
Oh man.
Now you're scared, huh?
No, for sure.
Let's go. That's the goal here. I want you nervous right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this. I am gonna ask you a personal pastoral question, though.
Yeah.
And so, okay. So, you've been married for how long?
It'll be 9 years this month.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah,
You're married
dude.
longer than I am?
Get married young, dog.
No way, man. Wow. Esther and I, we turned 8 years this year. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you are 9 years in, right? Okay. So what is? I mean, this is not that deep, but it's deep though. Okay. Okay. What has been one of your favorite things about marriage? By the way, shout out Amanda. You're awesome.
Thank you, babe. I love you for letting me be here and taking care of Ruby. I think one of my favorite things about marriage,
Yeah.
I think, is just having someone to process everything with. Like, I hate to like compare it, but if I can't imagine me going through my 20s not having the ability to process things with Amanda every night. Like, and not even every night, over dinner, or just like, I just get, like you talked about, like we talked about last night that your wife's seeing a psychologist and how good it is for her. Like, I'm seeing how good marriage is for me because of the ability to openly share, and I don't know, that's just something I see. I don't know. We don't really think too much about the compound effect of just conversing and really talking through decisions and dreaming, and there's the fact that you get to do that with somebody, and that somebody is your best friend, and that somebody is somebody you want to hang out with and you want to be with. And so I mean, that would be like one of my favorite things about marriage is just like the ability to converse about absolutely anything. If it's on your mind, it's always a free space to talk about it. In what there's almost like doesn't need a context. The context is your marriage.
Yeah.
And so that's probably one of my favorite things.
All right. So let me ask you this: what's your favorite thing about being a dad?
Dang. One of my favorite things about being a dad, I think, is being a girl dad.
I love that too.
Dude.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
We are girl dads. Yeah,
Yeah.
you and I. We see eye to eye here.
No, 100. But no, it's crazy. Like, I mean, although I see so much of me as a little kid in her, like just like tendencies and little proclivities and stuff. But I don't know. I think it has softened my heart. I think one thing I is showing me that God's just cool and awesome is that Ruby just grows up to do things that, you know, we stress over doing, you know, like, and I'm seeing it time and time again. Like, you know, she never crawled and we're like, dang it, girl, just crawl.
Yeah.
And then one day she just started walking. She like skipped crawling and just started walking. We didn't even tell her to walk or, you know, she just started walking. I was like, dang, that's kind of crazy. And then, you know, when it came to potty training, you know, I was like, what are we going to do about potty training? Are you going to do like the 5-day thing when she's like naked, run around the house and hopefully after the 5 days or whatever, you know?
And pee everywhere? Or?
Right. But what's cool is, dude, Ruby she saw that we had a toilet. We read books and she freaking used the toilet all by herself. I'm like, dang, this is amazing that like she developed. And then the last, I think, amazing thing my wife just told me was while I was on this trip, she texted me. She's like, Ruby just put herself down to take a nap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what? Like, she was like, Mama, I'm tired. She was like, do you want to go up and take a nap? She's like, yeah. Went upstairs, got in her bed and took a 2-hour nap.
Wow.
I'm like, dude. So I think watching the growth, the natural growth, is probably, and I think another favorite thing is being able to raise her how we want to raise her.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy how much she says the name Jesus, just like it's in her vocabulary. I also think it's crazy that she knows how to pray, you know, and she wants to pray when we're praying for food and, you know, the whole family's there. She wants to do it. And then that like church is a familiar thing, small groups is a familiar thing that I want that to be normalized, in her world. And, it's really fun to be able to help her and shape her thinking in regards to, church life and being a believer.
I love that. All right. We're going to wrap up this interview here, but I want to ask you one more question in regards to the business world, okay? And so, I mean, you know very well being a entrepreneur, being a business owner is a whirlwind. It is literally the roller coaster of roller coasters, you know? And so how would you encourage someone that feels that they are in a rat race and just can't seem to find purpose in what they are doing? You know, I'm someone that has always believed every season has its purpose. Mm-hmm. But it's very hard when that season truly is challenging and you're grinding and you're exhausted and you're stressed and it's not working out and you know, you fail once, you fail twice, and it could be really challenging. And so how would you encourage someone watching this podcast here and or listening to it that might be in that space that like they feel they are spinning their wheels but not going anywhere?
For sure. I mean, dude, you should call this the Loaded Question Podcast.
I know. I'm just. I told you we're gonna make this meaty. You know what I'm saying? We're going deep.
No, for sure. I mean, I do think we talked about emotional intelligence at dinner.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's probably what you're lacking if you're feeling like heavy a lot of that right now. So I would encourage, what can you do to make your mental game stronger? And it sounds like there might be habits that you haven't undertook that actually help you manage stress well, manage disappointment well, all those things, you know, emotional intelligence. And I think most people maybe would have or maybe not have a morning routine. But I would say this, because the situation's probably not going to change. Like for how you feel, it's going to feel like this for a season. But I would go back to my foundations of how are you starting your mornings? Like, are your mornings peaceful? Are you what are you consuming? Like, I think if you can, same with our diet, with food, I think what we should be consuming digitally and content wise should be good stuff, and it should be feeding us and building our faith. But I think a lot of it starts from the morning. Most people that have very reactive seasons are simply because they haven't made decisions to be proactive. And when I take control of my mornings, I'm setting the tone for my day that I'm going to be proactive in everything that comes my way.
I love that.
So I'm not just reacting, because if you wake up first thing in the morning, you check the emails, you check the social, you just put yourself in a reactive state. But if you wake up and you say, I'm going to read my Bible, I'm going to drink my coffee, I'm not even going to let the world get to me yet, because I'm making all these decisions, I'm going to be proactive with my morning, that bleeds into the day. And the way you take on conflict, the way you take on requests, the way you take on disappointment, you're now going to have a proactive reaction to it, as opposed to just frantic, And so I would just encourage people to just get your morning dialed. I think it'll help a lot, and that's usually your success is usually found in your morning routine.
I love that. Okay, so actually, this is gonna be the last question.
Okay.
As you were sharing, this question just popped up, but as you were sharing, it also reminded me that so many people feel that way because they lack self-awareness as well.
Right.
And so they could be doing something that they possibly love. Like, I love golf, but I'm never gonna play in the PGA.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but using that example there, I mean, you have people that will spend their whole lives thinking, I'm gonna make it to the PGA Tour.
100.
And so I would call that lacking self-awareness. Like, bruh,
Right.
Look, man, you got a cool hat, you got nice clubs, you ain't playing in the PGA ever. You know what I'm saying? All right, so how would you encourage someone when it comes to self-awareness? How can we become more self-aware to make sure that we're actually doing things we are called to? Mm-hmm. We're actually doing things we're actually gifted to. One of the things I have found is that oftentimes you find your place wherever influence comes.
Yeah.
And so how would you encourage people in that whole realm of self-awareness?
Yeah. How can you grow in self-awareness? I do think it starts with learning to ask good questions, asking yourself questions. The most self-aware people are people who think a lot and ask a lot of questions. That would be the first level. I would say get better at asking better questions
for
yourself.
That's good.
And tough questions a lot of times are better questions. Like, am I really good at this? Like, how did I make them feel? A lot of my self-awareness has grown just simply thinking while I'm driving. But I would say you're thinking, you're asking of questions, and then number 2 or 3, I guess you could say, is your circle. Do you have a circle, or do you have the relationships intact to help you grow in self-awareness? And I would say this is what I fight for in every season of my life. I fight for a relationship where I'm pulling somebody up. It's intentional. Like, I'm intentional. I'm helping. I'm encouraging. I'm pulling up. I'm teaching. Then I have people at my level that I would consider at my level, doing what I'm kind of doing, kind of have the same vision and goals for life. And then I have somebody pulling me up. And I try to fight for those 3 relationships, no matter what season I'm in.
Yeah.
The guy that's pulling me up is usually pulling things out of me, and also telling me what not to do and what I should be doing, helping me with my self-awareness. The person that I'm leading is also helping me with my self-awareness, because so much of my leadership has come from a place of me not wanting to make people feel a way that I ever felt when I was poorly led.
Yeah.
And so it's made me grow in self-awareness because I don't want people to feel that way. And so I care about how people feel, but that's only because I have people under my care. And so I would encourage people to fight for these strategic relationships. And I say strategic, but I mean, I don't want to make it sound like weird and, markety, but like, no, these are strategic relationships that are going to make you better and more successful at what it is you do. But thinking, asking better questions, and checking your circle.
I love that, man. Powerful, powerful. Omar, I'm always so inspired by your insights. I'm always inspired by your wisdom, and I absolutely love following you on Instagram.
Why? Why?
Because your posts are always crispy. You know what I'm saying?
It's a key term I'm trying to get in the dictionary is called drippy crispy.
Drippy crispy, exactly, But anyway, Omar, thanks for being here today. I love having you in Texas. I can't wait until you move here to Texas.
Dude, Vegas is a booming.
Saying it here first, everybody. He's moving to America, Texas. All right, man. Cool. Well, we had fun. I will make sure to have you on next time you're in town, man.
Let's do it.
Thanks for being here.
Love you.